Welcome to Math 121, Calculus 1. Here we're going to go over the syllabus. I don't have a printer, so I'm going through the syllabus on my computer. I'm Alex Cameron. Email is alexcameron@muhlenberg.edu. Email will be important for this course. I'll use email quite frequently. More on that when we get to the email section of the syllabus. Textbook is Calculus Volume 1 by Herman and Strang, published by OpenStax. The textbook, I mean, you could buy the textbook. We will not, I mean, I'm not going to give assignments which say read this hunk of the textbook. Largely, the textbook will be supplemental, and a lot of potential practice problems will be given in the textbook. But as far as the material we cover, I will cover everything we need in these lectures, or I'll post a PDF with additional notes that I'd like you to look through. But the textbook you certainly are welcome to buy if you want. Course descriptions and goals. Functions, limits and continuity, differentiation of algebraic and transcendental functions, application of the derivatives to related rates, approximations, maximum minimum problems, graphing, and optimization. Introduction to integration and the fundamental theorem of calculus. Now some of you have probably seen Calc 1 before. Usually in a Calc 1 class, a handful of the students have seen some Calc 1 and another handful have not. So those of you who have seen Calc 1 probably recognize most, if not all, of the words in those descriptions. Those of you who haven't, well, by the end of the semester you will know what we mean by all of these things. We're going to start with limits in week 2. Well, we're going to start with a review of pre-calculus and algebra for week 1. But week 2 we're going to get into limits and continuity, and that really marks the beginning of calculus. Course modality. This course is designed to be a synchronous course with asynchronous components. So we'll hold a weekly synchronous workshop on Thursday during our regular course time. For some of you, that's from 11 to 12:15. For others of you, that's 2 to 3:15. For those workshops, I will give you a link. It'll be a Zoom meeting. I'll send a link to that in the minutes leading up to those workshops. Lectures will be held asynchronously, so they will be posted online on YouTube. I do the lectures here on this board. I'm right now in my living room. And before last fall, I put this board up, and it seemed to work pretty well. Where were we? Additional asynchronous material includes worksheets and homework assignments, just like in a regular, normal meeting class. For more specific information on each of these, please see pages 2 and 3, which we will see when we get there. Course unit instruction. This class is scheduled to meet for 75 minutes each week. So the meeting will be, what I mean by meet there is the synchronous meeting on Thursdays. But beyond that, Calculus 1 meets, the material should cover about 200 minutes each week. The in-class material should cover about 200 minutes each week. So beyond that 75-minute workshop, you will have lecture videos, worksheets, homework assignments, exams, and some supplemental notes and emails. Emails will make an important part of this course, actually. More on that in a moment. Canvas. Well, I don't mean you have to send emails. You do for submitting, but more on that when we get there. Canvas. All material for the course will be posted on Canvas. The Canvas page will be organized by week. All due dates and times will be made clear. So on Canvas, I'll have a module for the syllabus, and then one with the lecture videos, and then after that, each module will be done by week. So it'll say something like week 1 functions and trigonometry and logarithms, and then under that we'll have a worksheet for week 1, a homework assignment if there is one, which there isn't for week 1. But it'll be organized by week, and you should definitely check Canvas a couple times each week to make sure you see everything that's posted. Email. I will contact you using my Muhlenberg email account. I will not use and do not check the Canvas contacting system. I find the Canvas contacting system very complicated, very counterintuitive, and very difficult to work with, so I don't use it. Any questions or comments you have should be sent to me by email. You could, of course, also ask questions during our Thursday meeting. But if you have a question before that, you can send me an email and we'll figure out a way to resolve that question. I hope to respond to all emails within 24 hours. I mean, I should. If I don't, then you can just send me a follow-up saying, like, I sent this email. I should respond within 24 hours. You do not need to set up email notifications. So none of the emails I send will be so important that you need to read it that second. But you should check your email at least once a day, 5-6 times a week maybe, just to see if I sent you something. At the beginning of each week, I will send an email with weekly expectations and information. So usually on Monday morning, I'll send something out, an email that says something like week 1 information. And then I'll say, this week we have this many lectures. And then I'll say something about each lecture. And I'll say we have worksheets or homework if we have those. And I usually attach the documents if they fit, because logging onto Canvas is inconvenient. When I send an email like that, you definitely should read through it. I strongly recommend reading through it, because I'll go through and I'll say we have this many lectures, but after that I'll say in lecture 1.1 we talk about this topic, and then I'll say 1 or 2 sentences on that. And those 1 or 2 sentences are very useful for you to read because they form kind of a summary of the entire lecture. And, well, I mean, not a summary in detail, but when I write one of those emails, I think, well, what can I say that says something about this topic? So it sort of functions as a kind of summary of that lecture. So you should definitely read through those, maybe even twice. I would read them once before watching the videos and once after watching the videos, because in math, it's always good. You look at math once, you retain a certain amount of it, and then you spend some time away from it. Then you look at it again, and it actually looks many times completely different the second time you look at it, and you retain the information quite differently sometimes. Office hours. For the time being, office hours will be arranged by appointment. So for these first few weeks, we'll hold office hours by appointment, and to do that, you can just send me an email saying, I'd like to discuss this further. Can we set up a meeting or something like that? And we'll set up a meeting. As the semester progresses, I may add regular office hours. We'll see. If I do, I'll let you know, of course. But for now, we'll just do them by appointment and our Thursday meeting. Lectures. Lectures will be pre-recorded and posted in a playlist on YouTube. A link to the playlist will be provided on Canvas. All notes will be contained in the lectures. Copies of notes will not be provided. So I'm not going to post a PDF saying these are all the notes we talked about in lecture so-and-so. The notes will be in the lectures unless otherwise stated. So I might post like a side page of notes or something like that here and there. It's expected that you watch each lecture during the week it was first posted. Calculus, well, all of math, but especially calculus, builds on itself. So in week 2, 3, and 4, I think, we're going to be talking about limits. And after that, we're going to be talking about derivatives. And some of the things we do in derivatives, you need to know limits for. So it's very easy to fall behind in a calculus course. So I would definitely recommend doing things on a week-by-week basis as it's arranged on Canvas. The lecture numbers will follow the week numbers, so it would be like lecture 3.6 is the 6th lecture for week 3. It's expected, I said that, lectures may not be reproduced, transferred, distributed, or displayed in any manner, except by me. Workshop. I will hold a virtual workshop using Zoom each Thursday during our regular class time. A link will be provided a couple minutes beforehand. We'll cover solutions to the weekly worksheet along with any other questions you have. Attendance is expected. Worksheets. A worksheet will be provided each week, and we'll go over solutions. Those worksheets the problems on the worksheet will be based on the material we cover in the lectures that week. Homework will be assigned and due regularly. I expect there will be 5 or 6 homework assignments, probably more like 6 than 5, although we'll see. Your one lowest homework grade will be dropped in computation of your final homework grade. So that's 1, not 2. Not more than 2. Homework guidelines. Your homework must be legible and intelligible. You must show all necessary work to receive full credit. So when you're doing your homework, make sure it's written neatly. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure you show all your work. To submit homework, please send pictures or scanned images to me through email. In the fall and in the winter, that's how I had students submit homework, and it seemed to work pretty well. So take pictures, send them to me. It would be a good idea to make sure that what's on your pictures is, make sure that it goes through the electronics properly the first time. I mean, there have been times where I wasn't able to read something and I sent an email saying, I can't read this, can you please resend it? And you know, if that does happen, there won't be a deduction, because I don't deduct for electronic problems. But before you send them, just look at the pictures and make sure that everything on the page can be read. Practice problems. If you'd like to do more problems than are covered by lectures, worksheets, and homework, the last page has a list of practice problems organized by section. So there's just extra problems, not to be handed in or graded. So we'll do worksheets and homework, and they'll all have a bunch of problems, but you might want more practice on them. And I could say do all of them, but that's not very helpful. So I did restrict the problems in the sections a little, so you know which ones to focus on. I'm pretty sure the odd-numbered problems have answers in the back of the textbook. Exams. The even-numbered problems do not have solutions. Some students have asked if I have a solutions manual. I do not have a solutions manual for this textbook. But if you do want to know solutions to some of the the answers, I guess, to some of the even-numbered problems, you can just ask me and I'll say something. Exams. 3 exams, including a cumulative final exam. So it's cumulative. Everything could show up. Exams 1 and 2 will be available on Canvas at 11 a.m. and due by 5 p.m. on the given day. Exams 1 and 2 are 1-hour exams. I'll give information on the final once that schedule is released. Submitting exams is the same as submitting homework. Email me pictures or scanned images of your work. Grading. Final grade out of 300 points. 100 points for the first 2 exams. 100 points total for the first 2 exams, I should say. They're each 50 points. 100 for the final exam, 100 for homework. Letter grades, the standard letter grade breakdown. If you get 90%, it's at least an A-, and so on. Extra credit. There will be no extra credit for individual students. Any extra credit offered would be offered to the whole class. The syllabus describes what is graded, so you know your responsibilities. Calculators are not allowed. Calculators are not good for understanding calculus. In a calculus class, your goal should be to understand calculus. Calculators will do nothing but prevent you from achieving that goal. I very, very strongly recommend against using calculators. Now that doesn't mean like I want you to do problems like 384 times 17 by writing them out. The numbers we see in the class will work out. There might be some strange fractions as we go on, like, I don't know, I know in the winter one of the final exam answers was 100 pi over 3, negative 100 pi over 3. So we might have some strange fractions, but I mean, you will not need a calculator for anything we do. And I always, always recommend against them. calculators, not good for you. Academic Integrity Code. Students are encouraged to review the college's Academic Integrity Code. You're expected to act with integrity. You're college students. You are adults. You should act with integrity. Don't cheat. Appropriate authorities will be notified if you cheat. Now the next page, these sections were not written by me. These, I believe, are on every syllabus. We're told to put them on the syllabus. Well, all professors are told to put these on the syllabus exactly like this. Academic Resource Center. If you want a tutor, you can get a tutor starting Wednesday the 17th. If you do have questions, though, I would always recommend asking me first. So keep that in mind. But you can get a tutor. I mean, I've had students get tutors, and I think they went well. Students with disabilities, special needs, experiencing financial hardship. If you fit any of those categories, you can talk to the appropriate department at the school, or you can talk to me about that. I'm understanding. You don't have to talk to me about it unless you feel comfortable doing so, as it says. Tentative course schedule. So some weeks it looks like there are a lot of different topics we're covering. The amount of time the lectures take in a given week should be close to the same, even if it looks like there are a bunch of topics. Exam 1 is week 6 on Tuesday, and then we have a couple things to do for that Thursday. Section 3.4, that'll be like a 10-15 minute video, and introduction to 3.6, that'll probably be 10-15 minutes as well. So some of the weeks it might look like there are a bunch of sections, but I will try to make it fairly constant from week to week. And it is a tentative schedule, so as we go on, I might realize, oh, this video is extra long, and then I'll push something off until the next week. And I'll let you know if that happens. Final exam is the last week. I will tell you more about that when the schedule is released. And then the last page has a list of practice problems from our textbook. So that's everything on the syllabus. I enjoy many things we do in calculus. So those of you who have seen calculus before, I hope in this we cover it in a way that allows you to understand what you thought you understood a little bit better. Now, for those of you who haven't seen calculus, a lot of it will be new, and definitely one of the most important things in calculus is getting used to all of the words that we're using. So each week we'll be talking about new calculus concepts, and associated to them will be words. So as the weeks go on, it's very important to not fall behind, because we'll talk about a few things in the first couple weeks, and then they'll show up again in like week 13 or something. So definitely do your best to not fall behind, and I hope the worksheets we have and the workshops we do will help you in doing that.